Hey guys, this is Dr. McFarland, and we're going to do another viewer suggested Headrush Rigs Thursday night special. And I'm going to start off with a reviewing some stock presets that come with the Headrush, and just kind of go through those and see how I would change the presets as they come, because we all know that, you know, they're a little loud and they're a little weird, and I don't know. So we're just going to go through some of those, and we might come back to this a little bit later. But for now, we're going to go to all rigs, and let's see what we got here. I got a lot of different rigs in here. I got some Tracy Gunn stuff. I need to do a little another Headrush artist review. Tiger's Eye. I'm assuming that's going to be Eye of the Tiger. So let's just analyze what they have here and see why they possibly made it the way they did, and maybe we can make it better. Who knows? I am monitoring through the Headrush FRFR speaker. Alright, so we're going to put this into stomp view so we can see all the different stuff we have here. So we have two different amps and two different cabs. So let's bypass all the other effects here. Alright, that actually sounds pretty good. Move this cable around. So we have the Sardano Crunch, and we have a plexiglass 50 watts. Alright. So the normal channel of the plexiglass is a little bit darker than the high volume. And let's see what they did. They kind of boosted some treble and mids and cut some bass on that. So I'm going to actually bypass one half of this and see what it sounds like. Alright, so that gives us a little darker sound, and let's see what the crunch is giving us here. Alright, so the crunch is brighter. So now we're basically just combining a dark and a bright sound to make one sound. Which is, that's not a bad idea. Alright, let's check out and see what mic we have on here. We have a SM57 off-axis, and we have a 25 watt SM7B off-axis. Alright, so the on and off axis thing, I'm actually making a video about this right now. That's going to be, it's actually going to be released tomorrow on Friday, about on and off axis microphones and how they color or change the sound overall. Alright, let's see what they did with the mix. So these are panned just slightly. Let's make that pan 0. And we're changing the level of the A and the B just slightly as well. So let's make them both the same and see what that does. Other than just making it louder. have y'all been keeping up with this whole YouTube copyright strike ordeal? I don't really, I know a little bit about it, but basically if you're playing songs in your video and you have it monetized, then they could quite possibly take down your video just for playing music owned by somebody else. So that's very interesting to me, and I have not been hit with anything yet, but I don't really feel like I do a lot of cover type stuff on my channel. I kind of just play off the top of my head, which could be a bad thing. I don't know. Here's the stereo doubler. Alright, I don't really know what else I'd change about this other than the output. Alright, so let's really take a look at this rig output here. Alright, so we're in the yellow and occasionally pushing the red. So that is a no-no in my book. And the full-size pedal board, the meters are actually just slightly different than the Gigboard from what I remember. Because the 0 is actually down like a little bit farther and you have a little bit more headroom up here. But regardless, I really don't like getting into the yellow at all. So let's see what we can do here. Alright, that's fine. Now, once I have my output set, I'm going to now turn up the master knob on the Headrush. All right, that's actually pretty good. It's a pretty good sound there. What I can do, I'm going to save as new rig. Cheetah. I don't know. It's weird. Alright, and then from there, we can go to all rigs and we can say new set list. Let's go all the way down. And let's insert that into a set list. And then we're going to save. This is going to be viewer suggested Headrush rigs number 18. Okay, last week was 17, so this week is 18. And there we got some weeks right there. So, all right. Says the Eye of the Cheetah. I was experimenting with some reverb earlier today. Getting it just like a nice, like short room kind of sound. So. Almost like you're playing in a basement or something. So I made the decay pretty short. Shorter. Take the tone down. So when you stop, you get this small hint of, hey, I'm playing in a room and maybe the sound is bouncing around off the walls or something. All right, just for fun, let's go to the hardware signs and let's take all this mumbo jumbo out. Let's take the reverb out and the cab. And let's say for fun, just for fun, because that's all we're having here, let's put a little bit of a delay. Let's do a tape echo, slap sync, and maybe we turn the mix down. Alright, so that's something to where you're going to give just a little bit of ambience. Bobby, it's not a matter of which sounds better. Both, I mean, the Helix and the Headrush, both of them sound great, okay? Just look at Pete Thorne's channel. If he can make a Headrush and a Helix, you know, sound amazing, then anybody can. It's not the limitations of the gear, it's the limitations of your ears and your knowledge. So if you like the form factor of having a 7-inch touchscreen and being able to slide things around and access the output really fast and access the input and different stuff, then go with a Headrush. If you like, you know, turning knobs and pushing buttons, then go with a Helix or a HX Stomp. All of them is going to be great. It doesn't really matter. Right now, you know, line 6 has a lot more effects. And the Headrush is definitely lacking in the definitely the fuzz department. It needs a lot more fuzz options, which I'm going to get into in a minute here when I try to build a rig. I wish I had more fuzz. I wish I had some other stuff, but I mean, listen to this sound. I try to be as simple as I can when I'm playing. If I can't get my sound with like a basic amp cab combination and maybe a tube screamer and a little bit of delay, a little bit of reverb, then I'm working way too hard. So with that said, you know, if you like the ease of use, get a Headrush. If you like having 15 different fuzz sounds, then you might want to add, maybe get a Headrush and then add a HX Stomp to add that extra flexibility. But it's just where I'm at. I mean, both units sound great, but with the touchscreen, I am spoiled beyond measure. I love the touchscreen aspect of how to, you know, control all this. It just makes my life easy. I love it. Okay? That's why I have the Headrush and not something else. Now, I did buy the HX Effects originally before I got the Headrush because I was trying to replace my my standard pedal board. It's just, you know, the HX Effects has all the effects in there that you would ever need. So, it sounds great. Let's do Smelly Teens. We're going to go ahead and save new rig. Smells like you. Alright, so why do they put some effects after the cab and some before the amp and whatever else, okay? Let's turn everything off. And let's just listen to what the amp is doing. Which we have a black mini, so it's a small amp. We got a treble and a bass and a vibrato, so it's... don't know why they picked this one, but... That to me, that just tells me that the overall sound is coming from the distortion box and not the actual amp. Okay, let's bypass that. So we have a fairly dark sound. On axis ribbon mic. Let's put it off axis. Okay, I'm okay with off axis. Let's take down the volume a little bit and the cut. I'm checking the comments here. What's up, Jim? What kind of pickups? I don't know. I'm using my Warhawk, Reverend Warhawk with RT pickups, especially like a Gretsch style pickup. Just reading the comments here, folks. Helix is heavier. Yeah, maybe heavier. Yeah, okay. Now, one thing to notice, I saw somebody try to suggest that they need to update the RAT with like extra, you know, parameters. And I'm like, well, you're not using a RAT anymore. You're using something else. So the purpose of a RAT is to have a distortion, a cut, and a volume. That's it, okay? On the original pedal, it's called a filter. So you're basically filtering out the high end, okay? With the cut all the way down, you're allowing the full spectrum of the high end frequencies to come through, and then as you roll that up, you're cutting away at the high end there. So I usually like to have mine around 60%. You can experiment, you know, with the, you know, up or down a little bit, but yeah, all right. I think for the chorus we can do that sounds weird. I don't think they really had a chorus on that part, but I think it sounds weird. I don't like the chorus. Now, I do like to have my cab last in the chain. And for all the new people that have not seen my videos or are just new to the Headrush in general, there's a thing on the big pedal board. If you go to global settings, you go to alternate output source, okay? What that is saying is you can take an XLR output and go direct to the front of house, and then your XLR output is going to be set to rig. That means that the full rig, amp, cab, everything is going to be sent to front of house, okay? Now, if you do not want your speaker cab to be sent to maybe say like a real amplifier, maybe you're using a real amp on stage and you don't want to blend the two sounds together, what you want to do is go back to global settings, and on the amp line out, which is what you would use to go to your amplifier, effects return or front end of the amp, it doesn't matter. You're going to set that to alternative, and you're going to have the source be cab input. All right. Now, if you're using a impulse response, you would want it to be I use a 1024 input, so it's going to be an IR 1024. Or if you're using, see, there's like multiple amps in here, like amp 1, amp 2, different stuff. But for me, I primarily use stock cab. So just use the cab input. That means that the input of the cab is going to be cut off, and everything else before it is going to go to the amp. Okay, so you still have your regular modeled amplifier in the rig, and so on. So, but let's just say, for example, that you wanted to have like a wet dry kind of situation, to where maybe you wanted to have your real amp to have all your front end effects, and then you wanted another amp or an FRFR speaker to have everything else, like the actual amp and cab and wet effects. Okay, and I need to do a video on that pretty soon, because I've been meaning to do it for a while. But in this instance, I'm taking a little rabbit trail here, by the way. You would want to do amp input, which means any effect that you have before the amp input is going to be going to the alternative output, and then your XLR output will be taking the full rig itself. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So that smells like you. Okay, the chorus is fine, but let's just bring it down a little bit. Let's bring down the depth. Okay, and essentially you'd want to make that 2 different scenes. So let's go ahead and do that. Since this is my own rig now, I can make a scene if I want to. Alright, so for those of you, once again, who are new, a scene is basically a combination of different effects. Okay, so we're going to say, actually, let's call it verse. We're going to go to edit, and let's make it orange. We're going to say amp is on, black op is off, volume is on, chorus is on, reverb is on, and cab is on. Okay, so everything is on except for the black op. And then scene 2, we're just going to name this chorus. We're going to say the amp is on, black op is on, volume is off, chorus is off, air reverb is off, and then the cab is on. Okay, and then we can take these out. Ooh, amp vibrato is in there. That's interesting. But anyway, let's go here, and now we're going to say verse, and we have our clean. Does that make sense? And now we're pressing chorus, and now these 2 effects turned off, or these 3 effects turned off, and now the black op is on. I can't play. I'm going to turn down the volume of the black op just a little bit. Alright, Nirvana might have used a Boss DS1 for their distortion, maybe. It was pretty nasty sounding, so I'm going to check the comments again. What's up, Mark? I had to think for a second. I did a lot of Uber driving the last few days, so I'm very tired. Alright, so let's take that rig and let's just do this. Let's do this. So let's go in and let's make the different rigs we're going to, and then I'm going to put them in the set list later. Usually if I'm building something from scratch, I'll just go ahead and make them, you know, put them in the set list. But for now, I'm changing up the stock presets here. So just for one day, Hotel California. Take the load off, Annie. Brick solo, another brick in the wall. Kind of already did something like that, but all right, brick clean. Country solo. I'm just kind of going through and seeing. All right, let's see what they do for a smooth lead, whatever their definition of that is. All right, first of all, I don't like that at all. Let's turn everything off. Let's put our cabinet at the end, and we're going to turn everything down. Let's check the output here. All right, so what I'm gonna name this again. Smooth butter. I'm stupid. I don't know. All right, that's a good sounding amp. Let's see. It's the SL100 drive. Preamp is down. So forth. But it's something with that much gain. I really don't like to have that much bass. So we're going to turn the bass down. Make the treble up. All right, that sounds fine. Let's see what mic we have on here. Let's do this MD421. Let's kick in the delay, see what we got. So they have 50 milliseconds. Why do we have 50 milliseconds? That does not scream smoothly to me. Let's do more like 600. So your stock, the stock Memory Man was 300 milliseconds. So 600 would be double that. All right, that's getting a little smoother. We have a pair EQ in here. Let's see what they did. Nothing to the low end, nothing to the low mids. They cut a lot of that 35 area, which I've done before, and they've raised the 2K. All right, so I want you to listen how that affects. So when you're cutting that much of the 3500 hertz area, that's a lot of that area is where most of your sizzle is going to come from. And for the people that say, hey, digital modeling is very harsh and you know, just doesn't sound that great, well, that's why they go in and adjust it with EQs to kind of, you know, carve out and shape the overall sound. Let's see what happens if we do not reduce the gain as much as they do right there. Let's make it 6. Now that concept right there of reducing the 3500 hertz and then also boosting 2K, which is a shelf, right? See that type 4 is a shelf. I drew a diagram a few weeks ago on the live stream about how that works. So imagine you have a straight line here and then the 35K is around this area. You're actually cutting the 35K, but you're boosting the 2K. Okay, so you got a boost here, but you're cutting a little bit of that boost out. All right, I know that's a rough estimate there, but so what you can do to combat that is go to global settings, page 2, and I actually have a little bit of my 3500 hertz already scooped out on the global EQ. Let's see if I drastically cut that even more. Let's make it 8 dB. Then I boosted 2K. Let's boost it 5 dB. Let's see what happens. So without even having to use a pair EQ, you can apply the same EQ to everything. So that way the 3500 hertz is cut out, you know, globally. You don't have to deal with the fizz. Alright, so to my ears, that drastically makes it pretty dark. Let's boost the 2K even more, see what happens. So I'm going to raise back up that 3500 area. Alright, so to my ears, that sounds pretty good. And that should be very similar to what the pair EQ is doing. So let's go back here and turn it off. Now let's see what the pair EQ does. Okay, so there's that. Going back, turning it on. Alright, I think it's pretty good. I am cutting out a little bit of the lows, just a little. Alright, I'm going to stick with that global setting. If you want your rigs to sound just like mine, apply that global setting to your Headrush or your Gigboard, and that way you kind of help cut out some of that fizz. Alright, let's turn on a little bit of reverb. And I'm going to check the comments again. All right. Hello, everyone who's watching. I do have a website called drmcfarlandstudios.com. I have basically at this point made 2 full courses, which I'm still adding to, and I'm gonna very soon be making videos for a anatomy of recording, which is teaching people how to record themselves and others. Way heavier, heavy as in like weight, or heavy as in like it's got cojones. It's got the cojones. It definitely sounds great. But as far as my website, there's a lot of free stuff on there. If you go to files and videos, you can find all the Headrush rigs I have, and as well as YouTube playlists that I have strategically set up there, so you can just binge watch all in one place. So anyway, if you're bored and you want to go check out my website, you know, do that after the live stream or whenever you have some free time, and there's a lot of cool stuff over there for you to check out. So all right, why do they have a wall after an overdrive? I don't get it. I'm gonna put that over here. Alright, that's cool. And then let's turn on the JRC. Oh, yes, that is heavy, 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 heavy. Alright, cool. I think it sounds smooth as butter. So buttery. Alright. Let me go to, let's go to our set list here. So, VSHR 18. And I'm going to add, so you got to go to the dot, 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 and then the pencil. And now you can go and add in rigs that you've already made. So I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom. We're going to go Cheetah, smells like you, smooth like butter. All right. Save. So now you see it has, let me go back. You see that has the number 3 beside the set list. That means there's 3 rigs within that set list. Okay. So we're going to go there, and now you can say song view. You can be like, all right, I'm in song 1, or I can want to go to, oh, come on. All right. So let's just say in this song, I have 3 different rigs. Okay. I can swap between those like that. If I had multiple banks of rigs over here, I could do that. But to me, why have the rig right here? We can just hit it over here. So I think they need to rethink this whole scenario right here. Because what I was going for earlier today was rig view, to where you can have up to 8 different rigs within your set list, or more or less, whichever. But at least that way, if you're one of those kind of people that only want to switch between rigs, you can do that. You can go from here. You can go from the smells. All right, I need to adjust the eye of the tiger, because it's, yeah, that's not as loud as it needs to be. Hello, got that one. I'm gonna bring that volume back down. This is where I'm gain staging each rig, so I'm making sure they're the same level. Alright, so Eye of the Cheetah. Save. Alright, sure. Alright, that's fine. So now that we're in a set list, I can go to new rig. And it's going to automatically add that new rig to a switch down here. Checking the comments again. I'm not really sure, Jay. Not really sure about that. Yeah, I'm going to work on that recording academy for sure. All right, yeah, let me address the 2-time amp thing. So let me go ahead and do that. This is bring in a gain. All right, so you can do this with amps as well. And there may be some ways to do this, but so if you see the 2 times down here, if you press that, it's going to bring in 2 amp models or 2 cab models. You can make them both the same. Uh-oh. Okay, there we go. You can make them both the same, or you can make them different, whatever you want. So I'm going to click on the top one and say, all right, let's do an MD421 off axis, and the bottom one's going to be SM57 on axis. So we're going to blend those two together. This is the deluxe gain mod. I'm going to bring up the master volume. And the overall volume there. Turn the bass down a little bit. All right, cool. We're going to call this double cab. All right, now to adjust the different cabs, you want to do the, I guess you could do amp gain, but we're going to do output gain. Like this. So now we should be only hearing the top one, which is MD421. And if I take that all the way out, it's still there, it's just less. So now we can go back to the other one, maybe turn that one up. Let's see what this one sounds like. Okay, that one is a lot softer, isn't it? Let's see what happens here. You can raise this up, maybe. Okay, it looks like there's really no effect. I'm not sure why that is, or maybe Brian can address that on the live stream that he's doing on the April 18th. But for now, I kind of see what you're saying. It's not really doing a whole lot. Bottom is way quieter. Yeah, it sure is. And it's almost like it's... let's make it something totally different. Let's go to a classic 30 watt with a ribbon mic. that down, take that back up. See, I have that all the way up, and it's still quiet. Why is that? Okay, amp gain, definitely adjust it. All right, let's go back and let's adjust the amp gain on both of them. See what that does. Amp gain all the way down. All right, so amp gain makes it nothing. And then let's turn this all of it. Let's turn this up. Now let's go back here. Huh. I am really baffled right now. Okay. All right, so the amp gain on both is adjusting, you know, the amp sound. All right, I don't know. I don't know why that is. But the only thing I do know to do is do something like this, where let's put the amp over here in this cab. Shoot. Let's do that. Let's add in another cab. Okay, so there's two cabs. Now this is something that I kind of stay away from. Once again, I'm very simple-minded, simple player, don't really need a whole lot. So I kind of just pick one cab and one mic and just go with it. But in this situation, you can always go to mix, and then you can adjust the overall mix level. So that's obviously brighter than B, so we might want to bring up B just a little bit, sneak it in. Maybe it is a stereo thing, I don't know. I'm only playing through one. All right, you gave me an idea. Let's run another cable to my other FR speaker. Oh man. So I have a XLR cable. So we're experimenting live right here. Which is kind of fun. All right, so here's that. And we're on, folks. All right, now we got stereo. Oh, man. Ooh, sounds good. A little loud. Let me adjust the volume here. All right, so now we got stereo out. Going to the house or the floor wedges, or however you want to think about it. All right, yeah, that's definitely it definitely dropped in volume when I did that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a stereo thing. So that's why a lot of the Tracy Guns rigs have the dual cabs and dual heads. So that way you don't have to do this kind of thing, right? You can do a stereo with them stacked on top, and then you have your left and right applying the stereo image. But it did drastically drop in volume, which I don't like. Alright, well that's, for that matter, let's do a 2 times head. And let's do a, let's do another gain mod, and let's crank up the gain on that one. Definitely interesting. And then if we got a delay in there, Tracy likes to have a stereo, default stereo. Not sure if that's coming across like it should, but let's do a black op. All right. I guess we figured that out, right? I don't know. I don't know. All right. For those of you who knows how to gent, which I don't even know what it means, what it is. But let's go to a Bogner. Let's take out that cab and let's bring in classic 30 watt. SN, let's do, shoot. Let's do ND 421 on axis. All right, who knows how to gent? Anybody? Anybody? Seriously. FR and an FR8, that's cool. Tried it yet, but you just need monster gain. 4x12 maybe, yeah. I have no idea. I'm not even a good enough player to gent, I guess. Monster gain, I mean, that's the gain all the way up. Let's add a tube screamer in front of it, because that's going to help tighten up the bass. Tighten up the bass. I thought it was funny, the white distortion. Oh geez. 4x10. 4x10? Why not a 4x12? Alright, I'm gonna do this exactly how he said it. White boost. Yeah, I can't do short, fast, low notes. Yeah, there he is, Chris. Yeah, you were the guy I was thinking of. Alright. Anvil, I have no idea. I still don't know how to play Anvil. Alright, let's turn off the JRC. All right, Chris, you're gonna have to do your own video showing how to play those songs. I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry. Alright, there we go. I don't know if we did it or not, but we did something. Scooping the mids on the amp. Sorry, don't know Wasp. Is it a band or is it a song? Either way, I'm going to have to look it up. I'll do better next time, I promise. Maybe. This is just wrong. D-J-E-N-T. I know how to spell it, but I don't know how to play it. This is the Reverend Warhawk RT, which stands for Revtron Pickups. Revtron Pickups. With the Bigsby. Alright, let's make the gate threshold up. Graphic EQ to scoop those mids, man. Before or after the amp? You want it after the amp? So that way we shape the overall tone. Now, you want it... I'm checking. Oh, geez. Come on, chat. Winger. I like Winger. I am 3. Yes, I am, Chris. I am 3. Whatever that means. All right, graphic EQ. We have 100, 370, 800, 2, and 3.25. So let's bring down the mids on both a little bit and see what happens. What preset? Oh, missing mids? Gotcha. my God. That's pretty much like a Metallica sound right there, without having to have a special IR or anything. So oh yes. Oh my gosh. I posted a link the other day in the group of where to find thousands of free impulse responses. I'm gonna do a video on that, so that way everybody knows, and you can't say that I didn't tell you. So all right, graphic EQ, they're boosting the highs, which I'm already boosting highs. I don't know, I'm gonna bring that down. I'm gonna bring it down. All right. If I don't know how to gent yet, then I need to figure that out, I guess. All right, we're gonna do another one. I'm gonna get to one that I didn't get to last week. This is gonna be gold on the ceiling. I really wish I could type. That doesn't look right. SIE. Okay. So this is a Black Keys song. We're gonna do a standard Fender. Let's do a Fender Princeton and crank it up. Let's do a SM57. I don't know what that means. One question about the FR: when I run only one cable, does that mean only one speaker is being used? Yeah. Now you can daisy chain both speakers together, but they're still just getting the mono signal. So if you're going left XLR out of the Headrush into one speaker, and then output of speaker 1 into input of speaker 2, you're basically just daisy chaining the speakers. So that means if you want to have a true stereo image, you have to have two cables coming out of the Headrush, left and right, going into their respective left and right speakers, and therefore you have a true stereo image. All right, does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Gray capacitor. Oh, geez. All right, I'm going back to my gent just for Josh here. We want to make sure we tighten things up, you know. Gray comp. Okay, I'm doing attacks. Are you meaning preset number 2? I don't know. All right. There you go. Gent away, folks. All right, go on the ceiling. All right, we're going to bring in our 8-bit crush. I want to get my... Get my... Alright, we're gonna have to stack something in there just to make it. Not really too fond of that. Let's see what happens if we do a black op. No. Try fuzz. I'm going all out fuzz, folks. Interesting. Let's do that one. That's a little too much for me. Just the amp. All right, since we don't have an Octavia kind of sound, we're kind of combining a few different stuff. Let's see what it sounds like without the 8-bit crush. All right, let's add a harmony octave. And we're gonna reduce the mix down pretty low. I want to get my 8-bit crush. And that's loud. But the output volume's fine. Maybe you want to, let's go hybrid mode on here. And we're going to say hardware assign, amp and cab out. We're going to have the 8-bit crush and all this in here. Like that. So maybe you want to take out the tri-fuzz. So yeah. I'm going to choose a different amp. Let's go gain mod and let's crank that sucker up. Cool. So I'm kind of have to do a makeshift fuzz because we don't really have a lot of fuzz options. I would like to have an Octavia fuzz. I like to have some kind of fuzz face kind of fuzz. The tri-fuzz is basically a big muff and it just doesn't have the mid-range that I like. Unless you want to add in a an EQ in there, which you totally can. But I'm not a big fan of it if we don't have to. Let's go here and let's bring up some of the mids like that. So here's without. Alright, I'm kind of going a long time here. Yep, I know what I'm doing, Chris. All right. Well, I'm not playing stuff original because we're building rigs based on bands or songs. So I'm trying to play the part of the song so it resembles the actual song, but you can do whatever you want. That's a lot of low end. Let's take out some low end here. All the way off. Alright, it's nasty. Somebody posted some nasty rigs on the group earlier today. I was like, hey, the nastier the better, right? Changing the color so you can see them a little bit better. Blue. All right, how many rigs we got? Too many. Let's go to rig view. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, 6, that's enough. So to recap, we have Eye of the Tiger. And we have Smells Like Teen Spirit. And we have a smooth lead. Something like that. Double cab. I definitely hear stereo something going on. Which is cool. I like that. Oh, we'll save it. Gent. Gold on the ceiling. Let's check the output of that. Alright, that is fine. And my wife just got home, so that's a good time to stop. Alright guys, thanks for watching. And be sure to check the website and the Headrush cloud for these rigs to be posted.